The startup funding winter has been spoken about for a few years now already, the funding winter, and looks like that funding winter has frozen over because startup investments in India are at their 5-year low as well.
True, Krishna, but I see a little bit of optimism. Kush was mentioning this, this ray of hope, this silver lining, as I see it, and let's look at the data. Now, over a 5-year horizon, of course, we have seen this being the worst ever year in terms of foreign investments coming into Indian startups, right? Overall, if you look at it year on year also, investments into Indian startups are down to about a trickle, I think down to about half of what they were last year, $1.5 billion or so. 2021, 2020, 2021, 2022, we had billion-dollar valuations almost every second week. We haven't seen any addition, barring one, to India's unicorns, which are $1 billion plus in this calendar year. Just one unicorn addition this year. Zepto, right. And Zepto is facing issues of its own, but we leave those aside right now. But we haven't really seen the kind of easy money flowing into India. So we have seen a 5-year low. We are seeing a year-on-year decline. Even on a sequential quarter-to-quarter basis, we've seen investments really coming down into Indian startups. But the silver lining, month-on-month, August to September, there has been an increase as much as 91%. We've almost doubled from about $300 million flowing in, $350 million flowing in, to almost $700 odd million flowing in. So overall, month on month, sequentially, I see the freezing over of the winter really beginning to thaw a little bit. Let's hope this momentum continues, because we've got to look at it also in conjunction with the angel tax, which we discussed in great detail yesterday, and maybe our viewers should go and search for that video on angel tax, where we had Siddharth Pai really explaining it threadbare to our viewers what this angel tax and the impact on startups. Now, what is also likely to happen is, with this fair market valuation coming in, I think raising capital beyond a certain fair market value for startups is not going to be lucrative, because at the end of the day, they'll have to pay more tax on it. So it seems that at one end, while this funding winter will begin to thaw, and hopefully that upsurge should begin, because we've seen interest rates in US also pausing right now. US Treasury yield may not be as attractive in the short to medium term horizon as it was all of last year, when we saw rate hikes, month after month in the FOMC. And India is also now finally, the stock market seemed to have settled. You are covering this for the last 1 week or so. We've seen pretty much flat trade almost on a daily basis. So there should be some case for investors to come back into looking at Indian startups a little more seriously. But those, multi-billion dollar, tens of billion dollars, decacorn sort of valuations may now become unviable or unproductive, or, or not really as lucrative as they were for Indian startups, with the angel tax rules coming in.
Right, funding winter, with or without funding winter, it's really our own ability to regulate startups, and the regulations around startups in India is going to really define the growth of startups from here going forward, funding coming into startups going forward. But we will have to wait and watch as the proverb goes, because so many uncertainties when it comes to startups at this stage.